Hello, and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Look around any major city, from Tokyo to Toronto, and you'll see them everywhere. Trotting on leashes down busy sidewalks, peering from apartment windows, or chasing balls in designated parks. Dogs. They have become a central, undeniable feature of modern urban life. But have you ever stopped to think about how truly strange that is? How did an animal once bred for hunting and herding in wide-open spaces end up in a high-rise apartment? And more importantly, what does living in a concrete jungle, a world of sirens, crowds, and confined spaces, actually do to the minds and bodies of our canine friends? Today, we're going from stray to stay, diving deep into the intricate world of urban dog populations. This isn't just a story about cute pets. It's a fascinating tale of evolution, psychology, and sociology that reveals as much about our own society as it does about the dogs who share our cities. The story of the urban dog begins long before the first skyscraper ever touched the clouds. The bond between humans and dogs is ancient, predating even agriculture. For proof, we can look to a 12,000-year-old burial site in what is now Israel, where archaeologists found the remains of a human carefully buried with their arm around a puppy. As we humans transitioned from nomadic hunter-gatherers to settled villagers, dogs were right there with us. They guarded our homes, helped us hunt, and cleaned up our scraps. When these settlements grew into the first bustling, chaotic cities of the 19th century, dogs had to adapt once again. Picture a city like Victorian London or New York. These were places teeming with animals. Dogs served a variety of crucial and often gritty roles. In factories and on docks, you'd find tough little rat terriers, relentlessly hunting vermin. Guarding warehouses and businesses were formidable bull mastiffs, a silent, powerful deterrent to thieves. But not all dogs had a job. The streets were also home to large packs of strays, scavenging for food in a world with almost no concept of modern sanitation. These dogs were often seen as a nuisance and a public health threat, leading to the creation of the first dog pounds and the grim practice of paying bounties for their capture. Yet, at the very same time, something else was happening. The rise of the Victorian middle class brought a new kind of dog into the city, the companion. Breeds like the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel became fashionable status symbols for the wealthy. Owning one signified refinement and leisure. It marked a pivotal shift in our relationship, from one based purely on utility to one of companionship and affection. This era also saw the birth of the animal welfare movement, with organizations like the ASPCA forming to fight the widespread cruelty that both working dogs and strays often faced. Fast forward to the 20th and 21st centuries, and the transformation is staggering. Dogs have overwhelmingly moved from the factory floor to the living room floor. They've become integral, beloved members of the family. Some evolutionary anthropologists call this the third wave of domestication. The first wave was the initial partnership for hunting and protection. The second was the development of specific breeds for specific jobs. This third wave is all about adapting to our modern, urbanized lives. In an incredibly short evolutionary time frame, dogs have had to adjust from roaming fields to living in small apartments, a change that puts immense pressure on their biology and psychology. And that brings us to the science of the city dog. What is life really like for a dog in a world built by and for humans? The constant barrage of stimuli, the lack of space, and the complex social rules of the city all have a profound impact. A groundbreaking study from the University of Helsinki looked at nearly 6,000 dogs and found a startling connection between urban environments and anxiety. The research revealed that dogs raised in the most dense, urbanized settings had fearfulness scores that were 45% higher when meeting strangers, and a staggering 70% higher in their fear of other dogs compared to their country-dwelling counterparts. Why this dramatic difference? Think about it from a dog's perspective. Their primary senses are hearing and smell, both of which are far more sensitive than ours. The urban environment is a sensory assault. Constant traffic noise, construction, sirens, and the chatter of countless people can be incredibly overwhelming. Studies have shown that persistent noise, like that from a busy road, can disrupt a dog's sleep and lead to a spike in the stress hormone, cortisol. This is the same hormone that floods our system when we're stressed, and over time, it can lead to chronic health and behavioral issues. Then there's the issue of space. Confined living in small apartments can lead to boredom, frustration, and what we see as behavioral problems, like destructive chewing or excessive barking. In reality, these are often just symptoms of an animal that isn't getting the physical and mental stimulation it needs. This is where socialization becomes absolutely critical. For any puppy, there's a crucial developmental window, usually between 3 and 16 weeks, where they need to be exposed to a wide variety of sights, sounds, and experiences in a positive way. This process shapes their future behavior and temperament. For a city dog, this is non-negotiable. A puppy that isn't properly socialized to the chaos of city life, the skateboards, the buses, the crowds, the other dogs, is far more likely to grow into a fearful or reactive adult. But socialization in the city is a double-edged sword. While cities offer countless opportunities to meet new people and dogs, they also present risks. A crowded, chaotic dog park can be a terrifying experience for a timid puppy, and one bad encounter can ingrain fear for a lifetime. For a rescued stray dog, the transition can be even harder. Imagine going from a life of total freedom, albeit a dangerous one, to the confinement of 4 walls and the sensory overload of a city block. It's an incredibly stressful journey. But the story of city dogs isn't just about stress and anxiety. It's also a story about community and connection. The presence of dogs in our cities is a major sociological phenomenon. One of their most powerful roles is that of a social catalyst. Think about it. How often do you strike up a conversation with a total stranger on the street? Now, how often do you do it because that stranger is walking an adorable dog? Dogs are natural icebreakers. They give us a shared, neutral topic of conversation. Studies have repeatedly shown that dog owners report having stronger social networks and a greater sense of community in their neighborhoods. Daily walks become opportunities for casual chats, turning anonymous neighbors into familiar faces. This builds what sociologists call social capital, the trust and relationships that help a society function effectively. Dog parks are perhaps the best example of this. They are the new town squares, the modern village greens. At a dog park, people from completely different backgrounds, professions, and age groups come together, united by their love for their pets. This bridging social capital is vital for fostering tolerance and understanding in our diverse and often segregated urban populations. Of course, who owns a dog in the city is also influenced by social and economic factors. Research shows that people with higher incomes and those living in less densely populated parts of a city are more likely to own pets. This makes sense when you consider the resources required. Responsible pet ownership involves costs for food, vet care, training, and sometimes dog walkers or daycare. It also requires space and, crucially, time. For many, a dog is a source of companionship and emotional support, helping to combat the loneliness that can be pervasive in the anonymous landscape of a big city. The human-animal bond is often particularly strong for people who are single, widowed, or don't have children. But with this boom in urban dog populations come significant challenges. In many parts of the world, especially in developing countries, the overpopulation of stray and free-ranging dogs is a massive issue. These animals face incredibly harsh lives, struggling for food and shelter while battling disease and injury. This overpopulation can also lead to direct conflicts with humans, including dog bites and the spread of zoonotic diseases like rabies, which remains a serious threat in many regions. Even in developed nations, animal shelters are often overwhelmed. A leading reason for people surrendering their pets is behavioral problems. Problems that, as we've discussed, often stem from the unique stresses of urban life and a lack of proper socialization or exercise. The very design of our cities can also be detrimental to animal welfare. The urban heat island effect, where concrete and asphalt absorb and radiate heat, makes city surfaces dangerously hot for a dog's paws. The lack of safe, accessible green spaces limits their ability to exercise and engage in natural behaviors, which is crucial for both their physical and mental health. In response to these complex challenges, cities around the world are moving away from old, ineffective methods and toward more humane and intelligent strategies. For decades, the primary method for controlling stray populations was culling. This approach is not only inhumane, but also scientifically proven to be ineffective. When dogs are removed from a territory, new ones simply move in to take advantage of the available resources, creating a vacuum effect. Today, the consensus is that humane, sustainable methods are the only path forward. The most successful strategy is known as TNR, which stands for Trap, Neuter, Return, or sometimes CNVR for Catch, Neuter, Vaccinate, Release. The process is simple and effective. Stray dogs are humanely trapped, given a health check, sterilized so they can no longer reproduce, and vaccinated against diseases, most importantly rabies. Then, they are returned to their original territory, the only home they've ever known. These sterilized dogs continue to hold their territory, preventing new, fertile dogs from moving in. The population stabilizes and then gradually declines over time through natural attrition. A fantastic example of this in action is the Lucknow model in India, a city that successfully used a CNVR program to significantly reduce the stray dog birth rate and rabies cases, a model that is now being replicated across the country. Shelters and adoption programs also play a vital role. They provide a safe haven and a second chance for abandoned animals. Innovative programs like Singapore's Project Adore are working to destigmatize stray dogs, showing the public that they can make wonderful, loving pets and encouraging people to adopt rather than shop. Ultimately, though, the most powerful long-term solution is promoting responsible pet ownership through education. Public awareness campaigns can teach people about the critical importance of spaying and neutering, the need for proper training and socialization, and the lifelong commitment that owning a pet truly represents. This brings us to the future of our canine metropolis. There is a growing recognition that we can't just expect dogs to adapt to our cities. We need to start adapting our cities for them. This is the exciting field of pet-friendly urban design. It means consciously creating more well-maintained, safely enclosed dog parks. It means designing green corridors that connect parks, allowing dogs and people to move through the city safely, away from traffic. It means pushing for more pet-friendly housing policies, as no pets clauses in rental agreements are a major reason why animals end up in shelters. Cities that embrace this kind of pet-friendly design aren't just improving the lives of dogs. They are making themselves more attractive, vibrant, and compassionate places for people to live. The story of the urban dog is a mirror reflecting our own evolution. As our cities grow and our relationship with the natural world changes, the need for thoughtful and compassionate management of our four-legged residents will only become more critical. By combining scientific understanding with humane policies and intelligent design, we can build cities where both humans and their canine companions can not just coexist, but truly thrive together. Because in the end, how we treat all the residents of our communities, including the furry ones, is a measure of our own humanity. Thank you for listening to Fun Facts Online.